Hello, in today's video I'm going to explain for you how to make a very basic tower family in order to add those architectural elements into the front and some other parts of our building. It's the ninth video in our series Unit 5 of Revit Architecture Elementary course. And in the previous lectures I just modeled the most important architecture component with like the walls and the floors and the courtyard doors and opening in the building, and then in the last lecture I just made the site or the landscape, the street, the curb, the fence, everything you can see basically here in this model. So in today I'm going to explain for you how to make columns, and again it's basic or elementary course, so I'm not going to go really deeper in the details, and just to show you what you can make actually in Revit architecture modeling. Again, that's a part of the book that I'm writing right now, and as you can see that's another really beautiful classic Revit column. Again, I'm modeling here architectural column, not a structural column, for those who really keen to know the details. I will try to explain that soon in later videos, but just to show you that there's no limits in your imagination of how to make columns as a family here, not as a project environment modeling, but that's a family modeling, or that's Revit family. So you can see how complex it can go, and the quality of the resulted images. That's pure Revit, by the way. So you can make here a subtraction, and here like a different other profile, lathe or revolved around a specific path, but it's actually not the thing that I'm gonna do in this video. I just gonna go and really very basics, and again this is the basic course or elementary course that I'm preparing for you. I'll try to go step by step in a more complicated geometries, try to have more architectural design villas in the next video, so just keep tuned to this channel. Anyway, so in order to do that we need to make a parametric column, and again to highlight the topic, it's here, and you have to distinguish clearly between the structure columns and the architectural columns. Those guys are more like like a fake columns, or a column they shouldn't carry much of a weight, or actually shouldn't carry an extra weight. They should carry just their own weight. So if you see this image is provided by Autodesk, it's just telling you that this I section steel the steel structure here it's basically the structure one, while the circular bluish surrounding of it's the architectural column. And the structural column I will try also to explain more about it in the later videos, but today I'm gonna just make a parametric again column, and it's really gonna be very basic shape, made out of 3 cylinders. So let's go ahead and do that. So just go to File and then New, and here in the families, make sure you are not in an imperial system, so just pop up here up and go to English, and again I'm gonna go metric column. Now Revit will start up a different software. It's actually built-in software, which is this guy here. It's Revit Family, and you can see that's a little bit difference here, some difference here in the tools available for us, and it's an entire Revit family creator, or entire Revit software that dedicated just to make the column. We are away from the project environment, which is a different, again it's it's almost a different software. You have to distinguish between both of them. That's Revit environment where you model things or assemble things, rather this guy is a family editor where you just design a specific thing. You design the furniture, design a column, and then you send it back to the project environment to be assembled. So again I'm gonna do just a simple extrusion, and I'm gonna take a cylinder here, so I'm gonna draw that and then end up here. Just simple 2 clicks, select that guy and hit the temporary dimension to change it into a permanent one, and then select that guy again, and then from the new parameter, or create new parameter here, click here, and let's say it's let's call it big radius, and I'm gonna keep that as a type parameter. So again, the type parameter will make all the columns in the file when you send it to the project environment, all the copies actually change when you change one of them, and that's what I want in my case. So I'm gonna go type, and then gonna OK, and then before I finish this modeling and go ahead to make the height or the Z value of it, it's really good idea to test and to link it actually to the depth and width that we have here. It's a pre-made parameter. That's the guy depth, and that's the guy here been predefined actually for us by the template of a Revit family column. So let's go here, and as you can see, it could be a rectangle or not only square, and I don't like that. And in the design that I want, it's radius, so this guy, the width should be really equal to the depth. So come to the depth and just give it the width value. So whatever you're gonna change, let's go, this is 300, you see, it's gonna change to the depth, and when you change the depth to 400, it's gonna turn the value back to the depth or to the width, and so on. So that's what we want. We basically want to make a square, not a rectangle. So that's the first step, because that's what's gonna suit just like a structure or a scaffold that's gonna hold inside this radius for the circle. So again, now that's a radius, so it should be half of the width. So again, I'm gonna have the width divided on 2, so that will be a 200. Hit apply, and it's changed. So beautiful, it's worked perfectly. And again, let's make this 500, and hit apply. Again, everything is been working smoothly. Always test, or what we call it here as a flex process, before you go ahead and continue the work or working with this one. Again, that's been done. I can just simply go to the front or the back elevation here, and then finish this extrusion, and you're going to see that the height of this has been created. That's the geometry that I have so far. Back to the elevation, I'm gonna go, and then I'm gonna go to create, and then I'm gonna create a reference plane here. And that reference plane, I'm gonna add dimension, so DI. I will link this guy to this guy, and the sequence of the clicks is very important. You have to go from the less important to the more important, and not the other way around. So this guy, I'm gonna select it, add a parameter, let's go a base height, and again it's type. Flex it or test this guy, it's working. So let's make this guy again 500 and hit apply. You're gonna see it's worked perfectly. So now select the cylinder itself, and you see this rectangle, you're gonna select it and drag it, and then when you see it's it's highlighted, the blue dotted line, leave the mouse and then lock it with this one. By that you have a fully parametric cylinder that you can control everything in it. I'm gonna go to the family type and change this guy to, let's say, 400 mil, and hit apply, and you see the cylinder is actually complying to this changes. Change that to 400 mil again, hit apply, and everything is working perfectly. Now I will do the same, but for the crown of that column, so again DI from the new one to the old one, and then I'm gonna apply that guy again that's just been defined, which is the base height. You can go ahead and create a new parameter. You call it, for example, the crown height, if you want them to be separated. Not in my case, so I'm gonna keep them the same. So it's actually I want them to be the same, so you can just go ahead and create a new one and change them sorry, and change the name to whatever you want. Again, that's my cylinder. I'm gonna remodel the whole thing again. So again, create, and again extrusion, do the same thing again. Now we have 2 cylinders. Just drag that to the top and lock it, and then drag the bottom here and then lock it. Now it should work perfectly, as you can see. Now if I drag that, can I drag that? Yeah, it is working, and it caused this guy to be changed to 300. And let's push that again back down. You see it's actually a drop down. So let's go here and let's assume that this is 2500. Let's see what's gonna say. It's actually flipped, you know, down, because that guy is still fixed to the same height that it's been created, and it is not really actually what I want. But if you notice that this guy and this guy stays the same, even when this guy goes, you know, downward, which is not really the good thing to be done actually in this type of constraint. So in this case, I would highly recommend it to change, you know, the relationship that's way it's been made. So I will have a dimension. I will take it from this here level to this level, and as you know, that's an upper reference level, and it's totally variable. So this guy, you cannot, you know, if you can try to apply a parameter to it's gonna be really dangerous. So come here, let's go for this height, overall height, and notice that it isn't have any, you know, any ability to be, you know, defined, rather a type or instance. It is actually going to be compulsory as an instance, and it's going to be actually compulsory as a reporting parameter, because this going to tell you the exact difference in the levels between, you know, this one and this one, this level and this one. So when you drop that down a little bit like that, dragging that, you see now it's telling you what is this, and it shouldn't allow you, you know, to add a value for that, because it's actually going to be changed dramatically during the designer or the, you know, the user that's going to work in here in the Revit project environment. So let's try to fix this issue, as I said. So again, if I go back to flex the base height into 400, hit apply, and that's gonna go really good. So select this guy, delete him, and I'm gonna add a parameter from here to here, this guy, and this one controls actually the base height. So if I selected this guy and just say it's X as a value, whatever it is, let's go and add a very basic formula for it. So X here will be the height, okay, which is again a reporting value of the 3,800, which is gonna be changed again minus, you know, what is it? And let's see. So the overall height, let's say from here to here, which is the height minus, let's see, that's technically minus 300. Yep. So by doing that, again, we're gonna get a warning message. Is it defined correctly? Yep. But it cannot be really stated, because they are, both of them can be variable. So that's why it's been, you know, that's why it's been rejected actually. Okay. All right. So fair enough. So I'm gonna cancel that. I'm gonna add a parameter here back, and this guy I'm gonna add for it another one. Let's say go Y. Okay, and it's again rejecting that because it's too much constraint. So it should accept the X as the height minus the value of a base height. Okay, and let's say apply and including parameter cannot be used in type. Okay, instance parameter cannot be used. Okay, that's why. Okay, so cancel. So this guy, it's actually complaining because one of those values, which is this one, the reporting one, it's basically an instance value. So select this guy, go to the edit, and let's change that to instance, and let's apply that now. And now we see it's working. So let's flex that again, and it should have flexing this by pushing the height up. Now you see both constraints are working perfectly. This guy is still, if you measure it, a 400 mil again. Let's test that again. Push that down. See, beautifully working. And again, what just happened is this is that when I created the height, this one, it actually measuring the distance from the upper reference to the lower reference, which the relationship can be differ and totally, you know, can be different from one column to another, even if you are designing a type. So that's what we call it, an instance parameter. So they can be the same thickness, the same everything, except this guy, which could be, you know, different depend on the height of the slab. That's why when you apply that, and specifically this one, it is a reporting parameter because it's just telling you what is the height between this guy and this guy. So that's why it's instance dash reporting. That's, you can see the report here. So when I try to add, or when I define this one, which should be the overall height, which is this, minus this guy to give me the same relationship here as the base height, when I assume this x is a type parameter, it's rejected because it cannot be fixed while it's been driven by that guy, which is, you know, a variable or instance or reporting. So when I change this to, you know, an instance parameter, it worked, you know, in a better way. Anyway, so let's go. Okay, now this guy is exactly equal to this guy. Let's go again to the floor plan, and again we're gonna repeat the steps here. Anything, let's go like this, apply, and I'm gonna select this and add a new parameter. Let's go small radius. Again, it's type. Again, we're gonna add a value for it. So the small radius here, I will say it's big radius, and be careful when you write. It should be the same capital letter and small letter sequence in here. If this is a gap, you have to keep it here. It must be the exact, otherwise you're going to get warning messages. Let's say minus whatever. Let's say minus let's minus 25 maybe. Hit apply, and you see you have to flex this and try it. So just go to the base height again, sorry, the base radius, make it 300, and hit apply. This guy should be, you know, less by 25. So this exactly, that's what I wanted. So hit OK, and then finish that, and then go back to the back elevation, and then drag that to the top and lock it, and drag that to the here, and then lock that again. So now if I shade that, and then I drop the height of this column, everything is working perfectly. As you can see, let's flex the base height, which is again another critical parameter. So base height, let's make it 500 maybe. Hit apply. You see it's increased in both sides, and that's what we want. And a little bit, you know, chunky. So let's push that back again, or let's at least reduce the big radius to 250 maybe. It's gonna give us a more slimmer, you know, proportion. Now I'm gonna go file, save as the family, and I'm gonna go column underscore column, and it's parametric. So finish with this. Again, not really big fan of making more than 2 or 3 viewports. Load that into the project, and now it's been loaded, you know, within, as you can see, the project environment. I'm gonna place it here, and notice that when I place it, immediately jump to the next level. It's a good idea to, you know, to attach it to the slab, so it takes its exact placement with the floor face, with the to be attached to the face, to this above the slab above, instead of getting attached to the upper face or upper surface of it. So let's go wireframe to show you. See, now it's been attached to the lower level of the slab, which is this one. Probably I have to hide this one maybe in order to get really, you know, able to see it. See, so that's the slab. So that's the slab, and it should, this guy, the top of it should be attached to the level itself, and this guy, when you use it, it's gonna attach the lower face of the slab. That's what we want. That's what actually happened. Without it, so if I detach it, it should go to the top of it. No, for some reason it's just not doing that anyway. But technically the top face of that should be attached to the top face, as we have in here, if you noticed. That's what it should does, but for some reason it isn't working. But anyway, go back to the ground floor. Now you have to place it correctly based on what you have in here. So okay, so now copy that to this and copy that to this guy again. Should be multiple there. Yep. See, and those are, you know, kind of, you know, smaller than what I have in here, but anyway, I'm gonna keep them as they are. If you want to change any one of them, and you go to edit type, you see the parameter you defined. Let's just change one. Let's go to the radius, maybe the big radius. So let's go like 300 mil and hit apply, and you see they all of them just change the height into, you know, the same, to match the same thing. And sorry, they all change the radius to match the same one. Now I'm gonna select this guy and again copy. That's why it's called, you know, the type parameter, because it's gonna match itself to all the copies of that wall, or that, sorry, architectural element. It's the same column, the same width for all. So again, it isn't in the middle, I know. So now type, that means when you change this guy, it's going to change the whole copies of this columns. Now in here, let's try something else. So I'm going to go to wireframe. Let's select this guy, and instead I'm going to attach that to this guy. Yep. Let's get back, you know, shade it. See, it goes from the lower level to the top, touching the lower face of this slab like this. So now, if you remember carefully, that's where we defined, if you remember, when we defined this guy as a reporting and as an instance. So why? Because it's instance, so it can be changed by itself, not like the other ones. And again, in 3D, see in the product environment, this, you know, the thickness or the radius are the same. So when you change any one of them, all of them, including this guy, will change, because they are having that radius thing as a type parameter. Look at this guy, have the height of it as a reporting and its instance, specifically instance, so you can change the height without affecting the height of the others. So instance, that means just for this instance, that's just for that family member. Anyway, back to the ground floor again. I'm gonna copy that again. It's not really exactly in the middle, and probably I need to copy it here one more time. Cancel, and then that's weird, isn't it? Yep. And the lovely thing, it's attached itself to the top slab here. That's really nice. But what I didn't understand, why this guy did not been copied to the here to here. Let's see. That's crazy. Okay, let's go to wireframe. So yeah, okay. You need to attach it to this slab. This one. Now, as you can see, that's what I want. So that's basically the columns. I know you're supposed to send this column here to the top of this like the rest, and probably copy it in the first floor and make it shorter. I know, and you can do that again by your own, just to double check. And in this case, those guys all on the ground floor will be having the same height. And I just rather to show you, like an example, it could be, even penetrating the slab, which is technically wrong. So you should stop it here and then copy it vertically and make the height between the first floor and the second floor or whatever, or the roof. Anyway, I wish that you find that video useful for you. And in it, we just discussed the process of making a column family, and I explained a very basic one. I explained in it the type and the instance and the reporting parameters, and how to apply them and manipulate them here in the model and the project environment modeling. Thank you very much, and have a good day.